Today, we honor you, Lauren, by awarding you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters. And now a round of applause for each honorary degree recipient. Dot and her family could not make it here today, but we know that they are joining us via the live stream. And I would like to ask Dr. Lewis to please come forward. And Dr. Glenn Anderson, also please come forward. Today, Gallaudet University is proud to honor Dorothy Chiyoko Seyoka Casterline by awarding her the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
President Cordano, I ask that you confer upon Dorothy Casterline the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Gallaudet University, I confer upon Dorothy Casterline the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. And to her family that is watching, we are thinking of you, and this will be sent to your home. A round of applause for Dorothy Casterline. Congratulations, Dot. We now will confer an honorary degree upon Carl Kronberg. He is not here with us today, but members of his family who are here, including his wife Zelly, as well as his daughter and rest of the family members, they are here to accept this degree on his behalf. So today, Gallaudet University is proud to honor Carl Kronberg by awarding him the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
President Cordano, I ask that you confer upon Carl Kronberg the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Gallaudet University, I confer upon Carl Kronberg the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. We now confer an honorary degree upon Lauren Ridloff.
Will the Board of Trustees member Cynthia Neese Bales please come forward?
And would Lauren Ridloff also please come forward? Today, Gallaudet University is proud to honor Lauren Ridloff by awarding her the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
President Cordano, I request that you confer upon Lauren Ridloff the degree of Honor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Gallaudet University, I confer upon Lauren Ridloff the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities thereto appertaining. Congratulations. Wow, another round of applause. You know, I think we can give a round of applause to Dot and Carl and the family members who are joining here with us today. Again, congratulations. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Lauren Ridloff to address the class of 2022.
Good afternoon, class of 2022. Congratulations, you've made it. Celebrate this moment in your life. This is truly a moment, hopefully a happy moment for you. This ceremony is a wonderful place to pause and to celebrate. There were many steps made to get you here, and there's far more steps that lie ahead of you. Graduating right now means that you've persevered through a lot of ordinary and extraordinary challenges. You showed strength by getting out of bed every day to continue your learning, bettering yourselves, and preparing for what the future has in store for you. You persevered even when the world came to a stop and stayed home. Schools all across the world switched to distance learning, and you all, every single one of you, kept going. I am so incredibly honored to stand here and share this moment with you. I ask you to find quiet time in the day to reflect on what it took to get you here today, to this moment. I invite all of you to think about both your disappointments as well as your triumphs. I also invite you to feel pride. You should be proud of yourselves, proud of your friends, and proud of your Gallaudet family. I, too, am proud. I am incredibly proud to receive an honorary degree along with Dorothy Kasterlein and Carl Cronenberg. This honor represents the many small steps that they made to create a long-lasting ripple effect. The reason I'm here is because of the work done by both Dr. Kasterlein and Dr. Cronenberg. They spent endless hours and many days putting together the Dictionary of American Sign Language on Linguistic Principles in 1965. The significance of that book is that it proved American Sign Language as a real language and that there is truly a thriving deaf culture attached to that language. 57 years later, Doctors Kasterlein and Cronenberg are receiving their honorary degrees. I'm proud to be here and recognize them for their work. I'll also add that I'm a proud product of their findings. I am here as your peer. I, like you, am deaf. I, like you, went through college and faced challenges and overcame them. I, like you soon will, walked away from a very familiar environment and lifestyle into something brand new. I can remember the questions and the thoughts that ran through my head as I sat there wondering, where do I go next? Who will I be? What do I do now? And how do I succeed? And you know what? The answers to all of those questions are already inside you. All you need to do is to find your own pace in life. What does it mean, really, to find your pace in life? It means to do something at a speed that is steady and allows you to continue without becoming too tired. When you pace yourself, you're able to keep going without feeling burnt out or losing motivation. Push yourself, but take it easy. Take it easy, but you should also push yourself. Find your own pace. Your pace will not be the same as others. We all move at our own speed. Some will be moving faster than you, and others will be moving much slower. However, the most important thing is that you keep going. I'm a runner. I love running. And the reason I love running is because it's really my quiet time. And it makes my body feel really, really good. But the real reason why I love running is because running actually reminds me how to live my life. When I run, I have to pace myself. If I run too fast, too soon, I get tired really easily, or I might hurt myself. And then, because of that, I have to stop before I'm actually ready to stop. But if I run at too slow of a pace, then I lose motivation. I get bored, my body feels heavy, and then I stop. But if I pace myself and run at the right speed, then that means I can run and run and run for miles. And that makes me feel great. But that magic doesn't happen every day because naturally, each day is different. So what do? I adapt. I change to different shoes, change different running routes. I'll also try to run at different times of the day. I plan ahead. I schedule all my runs. I make sure that I have all the running clothes that I need, as well as my running shoes and my watch anytime I travel, so that way I can run anywhere at any time. I actually watch and observe other people's runs. I read runners' stories, and I learn from them. I envision myself running in their shoes. By doing all of these aforementioned things, I can find the right pace for myself and succeed as a runner. All those skills in running actually parlay directly into my work. I'm an actress, and with that, let me tell you a little bit about what it's like to work in TV and film. Getting a role is certainly not easy. Sometimes we're chosen, and sometimes we're not. There's a great deal of waiting that happens, and it requires a lot of patience. Shooting schedules change all the time. It's very hard to make plans. So often, when my shooting schedule suddenly changes, I end up having to cancel my plans. It depends on the weather, technical difficulties, other people's schedules. There's so many factors that go into that. I have to read a number of pages, translating English into American Sign Language, memorizing my lines, advocating for myself while on the set as a deaf actress, as a person of color. Often, our shoots are 10 to 12 hours a day. And a lot of the time, we end up going into overtime. We shoot in extremely challenging climates, and we find ourselves fighting against heat, wind, bugs, stiff and really tight wardrobes that are hard to zip up and get comfortable in. Many times, when I come home from a day of work, it's extremely late. At times, 4 in the morning. By the time I get home, I am filthy, sweaty, sticky, exhausted, but unable to sleep. After completing all of that hard work and pushing myself outside of my comfort zone, that's when I feel the impact of moving with intention. I've found my pace. And I also know that because of the result of hard work, the power of representation. There are changes that are happening for people who are deaf and hard of hearing. I'm supporting my community. This is what gets me out of bed each and every day. Similar to what Dorothy and Carl did for American Sign Language and deaf culture, it was accomplished by a long string of days, extremely long days. Some of those days were full of big and exciting findings, and some days it appeared nothing exciting came up. Those long days, when looked at alone, can feel like forever. But with consistency, those long days add up to a finished film. With Carl and Dot and their long days, what they added up to was a summation of language and culture being recognized, categorized, and formalized. The same holds true with my runs. Each step adds up to a finished race. And the same is true with life. Those steps that you're making, they go on to add up. So for you, my friends, I want to share with you a formula that I have. Now, I shared with you the importance of finding the right pace. Take a closer look at the word pace, P-A-C-E. Within that word, I see 4 important life skills, and that's my formula. The P is perseverance, A is adaptability, C is commitment, and E is empathy. Pace. Those life skills apply to all of you, regardless of your interests, passions, or dreams. Perseverance is something you already know. In fact, perseverance is the reason why you are here today, celebrating graduation. Congratulations. That's awesome. The pandemic hit, but you did not give up. You did not stop. You kept it going. You all know that some days it feels easier to keep on going than it might feel on other days. And some days you just want to stop and take a break. That's okay. Just make sure to get up again and keep going. The second part of pacing yourselves is adaptability. So remember, P was perseverance, which you succeeded in that. You adapted, and that's what the A stands for. The pandemic hit, and you all adapted. Distance learning, what a challenge that was. I applaud each of you. For you to have to sit at your computer, watching all those tiny faces on the screen, navigating an online education, dealing with wearing masks and social distancing could not have been easy. But nonetheless, you did it. You've shown your adaptability. And that is a life skill that will get you extremely far in life. Be strong and be flexible. Make changes so that you can continue doing what you want. The third part of PACE is C, commitment. So we've got perseverance, adaptability, and C, commitment. Commitment is a funny thing. Many times we're afraid to commit to something because we're afraid that means we'll be stuck or tethered to something. But in actuality, commitment means that you are free. Commitment is an important and a brave thing to do. Commitment gives purpose, a sense of direction in life, and ultimately, commitment is what propels you along your path. Commitment is also something that can be a very challenging skill to hold on to, and that's when perseverance and adaptability help you remain committed. You know what else helps you pace yourselves? Empathy. And that's what the E in PACE stands for. Empathy is when you listen and share and understand those around you. No one accomplishes things alone. Empathy helps us to connect and support as we move throughout our journey. And they too, others, will go on to support you along your journey. Empathy is what strengthens the experience of community. When you pace yourself, things get done. When you pace yourself little by little, you get closer to your destination. When you pace yourself, you can actually enjoy the journey. You are all change makers. After today, you're going to go out on your separate ways, but you'll still be connected through all of your shared experiences, beliefs, and values. Every day, you will find yourselves moving at a different speed, and that's okay. Some days you will move faster than other days, and there will be other times that you may experience just quiet moments of rest. And those moments of rest absolutely need to happen too. Just know that your pace and that your journey is perfect for you and you alone. Graduates, congratulations on your achievement today. And tomorrow, persevere, adapt, commit, and empathize. Find your life pace and run free. All right. All right.
Thank you, Dr. Ridloff. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the undergraduate student speaker chosen to address you today. Representing the undergraduate students is Molly Fiani. Molly, please join us on stage for your address.
I want to see your energy. I want to see your liveliness. We're graduating today. Dear graduating class of 2022, proud families, friends, and Gallaudet University community, I would like to congratulate you, the class of 2022, for your hard work and perseverance in achieving your well-earned undergraduate degree here at our academic home. And Mr. Cook, thank you for accepting my invitation from Twitter, and it is an honor to have you here. Thank you, Mr. Cook. I want to introduce myself. I am Molly Fiani, and I am from Canada. My education began as a young child at a deaf school, and I moved to a mainstream environment where I was fortunate to receive good support in and out of the classroom. However, my deaf community at home is small. Growing up, I used to feel closed off in my own little world, but deep inside, I really wanted to open the door to my world to be opened and not have limited access to communication. Not being able to fully socialize with my peers and not feeling truly included in my school and work discussions, I felt disconnected and not truly accepted as an equal. But here at Gallaudet, I found a very different community. Everyone was signing here, and I felt accepted. I felt my journey really started here at Gallaudet. I was feeling overwhelmed. I felt anxious and alone. I honestly didn't think I would actually belong here. However, Gallaudet provided many opportunities and enriching experiences for me to be able to meet role models who I look up to, meet invaluable individuals, discovering opportunities to develop career skills, and most importantly, I had a sense of belonging here. I want to thank Gallaudet from the bottom of my heart. Gallaudet is important because it is a large and interconnected world, and yet, at the same time, a small, close-knit community. As I've gotten to know my classmates, which many of you are graduating here today, what became clear to me is that each one of us had a unique story, revealing the challenges, struggles, and courage that brought us all here. And quite often, if not always, there are also shared experiences and goals that connected us and made this day possible. And I want to acknowledge and thank our families, caregivers, parents and families and friends, previous teachers that inspired and supported our dreams for us to become better. I want to thank Gallaudet alumni, former and current faculty and staff whose hard work and dedication helped create the paths that we now walk on and will blaze in the future. In the last few years, the world outside has rapidly changed, and we have faced new challenges, including leaving campus and adjusting to remote learning. While COVID pandemic had the impact of keeping us physically separated from one another and negatively affecting our sense of belonging, it provided an opportunity for technology to bring us together. Gallaudet and Apple worked together to ensure that all of the students, faculty members, and staff could learn and continue to work remotely through providing Apple MacBook laptops and iPads. I want to say that it has allowed us to continue to have a sense of community here at Gallaudet. So I want to really, truly thank Mr. Tim Cook for making that possible for us here at Gallaudet and making that accessible for us to have a home away from home. I'm hoping that we're able to keep our MacBooks after graduation. Fingers crossed. I hope. But with that being said, as we move forward to the next phase of our lives, we should remember how important it is that the feeling of belonging acquired while completing our degrees should not be temporary. Our stories are not yet over. I would like to share one of my favorite quotes that I hope that you will always remember. You are braver than you believe. You are stronger than you seem. And you are smarter than you think. That's from Winnie the Pooh, and it's one of my favorite books that I loved reading growing up. As we here all have connected, I'm hoping to continue those close connections with each other. We came here to gain knowledge and skills and to discover more about ourselves and each other, and I want that to continue. Let's continue to support each other in our strengths, motivations, dreams, and let us go out and change the world and influence positive change as we step into this world. Thank you, Gallaudet, and again, congratulations to the class of 2022. Now I would have the pleasure of introducing Marlee Matlin. Marlee is well known to all of you as the first deaf person to receive an Oscar. She won the Oscar for Best Actress in 1987 for her performance in Children of a Lesser God. At that time, she was and still is the youngest person to ever win the Best Actress Oscar. Gallaudet awarded Marlee an honorary degree the same year, and she, like you, is a proud alumnus. She also serves on our board of trustees and is now an honorary trustee. Marlee has devoted her career to elevating the status of deaf people in the performing arts. She is a strong advocate for inclusion. She is here today to introduce our keynote, Mr. Tim Cook. Welcome, Marlee.
Wow. What a wonderful day. I think I'll be standing here now. Thank you, Molly, for that lovely introduction. It's great. It's great to be back here at Gallaudet, where I humbly accepted an honorary doctorate of humane letters way back in 1987, way back probably before any of you were born. That's okay. That was the same year when I won the Academy Award as the first deaf person ever to receive that honor, just as Molly just said. Now I'm no longer alone. And though myself and many of us in our community achieved small measures of success and representation, it wasn't until this past year when it took one company under the direction of one man to break the doors wide open, shining a spotlight on the importance of inclusion, diversity, authenticity, while completely rewriting the handbook on what success means in Hollywood. This man is Tim Cook. In our independent film, Coda, Sean Heater's script told the story of a working-class deaf family which didn't fit into the typical Hollywood blockbuster formula. And even though our film won an unprecedented 4 awards at the Sundance Film Festival, we weren't sure where it would go after that because COVID changed the world of moviegoing everywhere. Then something magical happened. A company known for innovative products and technology that changed the world partnered with us on our film. Suddenly, there we were, streaming into the universe, part of the global brand that was Apple. And even better, right out of the gate, the entire team at Apple demonstrated a commitment to accessibility and authenticity that I had never seen in my 35-year career. First of all, our film was open captioned for all audiences. Then, there were interpreters at every venue, on virtual interviews, on stages, and at awards ceremonies. And most importantly, our community was consulted at every step of the way to make sure we were included. Ultimately, Coda won 3 Academy Awards. Best Supporting Actor, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Picture. Redefining success in Hollywood, both socially and commercially. You know, Tim once said, "You want to be the pebble in the pond that creates a ripple for change." Well, Tim, you've certainly done that for our community, our deaf community, 1,000-fold. As someone who has demonstrated a commitment to innovation far beyond your products, infusing humanity and integrating values into everything that you build, we are proud that you joined us today as we continue changing the hearts and minds, breaking barriers, and ultimately achieving equity. To the graduating class at Gallaudet University of 2022, I am proud to introduce to you your commencement speaker, my friend, and supporter of our community, Tim Cook.
That was so kind. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored to share this momentous occasion with all of you. Thank you to President Cordano, the Board of Trustees, the students, faculty, and staff, and all the proud families and friends in the audience for welcoming me today. I want to congratulate Dorothy, Carl, and Lauren on your honorary degrees. Only one of you played a superhero on the big screen, but all 3 of you have set heroic examples as trailblazers and advocates for the deaf community. And thank you, of course, to Molly for the powerful words you shared with us today. Marley, I can't thank you enough for that generous introduction. As you know, Marley is a brilliant performer, one who has spent her career breaking barriers and defying expectations. But while Marley's talent shine through on screen, she is just as impressive off screen. As a person, As a leader and as an advocate, Marley brings the same integrity and grace to everything she does. And we at Apple, we're so lucky to collaborate with her on CODA. Finally, I want to say how grateful I am for the partnership that Apple and Gallaudet have built in recent years. As Apple works to design technology that is accessible to all, we are incredibly fortunate to have such innovative and committed partners. It's thanks in part to this community that Apple Maps now has a series of guides that help users identify deaf-owned and deaf-friendly businesses. And we look forward to building on our partnership for many more years to come. Class of 2022, you made it to this day, to this moment, to this achievement, which was never guaranteed. Every graduating class confronts challenges, but I think it's fair to say that you face greater obstacles than most. After all, you were only in the spring semester of 2020, a time when many of you were just hitting your stride when the pandemic turned the world upside down. For some of you, that meant leaving behind a campus where you have found a deep sense of community and acceptance, perhaps for the first time in your lives. For others, it meant remaining in D.C. without the friends and classmates you have come to think of as family. For all of you, though, it meant navigating a strange and uncertain world. It meant overcoming a whole new set of obstacles that tried to prevent you from being here today. But those obstacles, they couldn't stop you. You are here today for a reason. You earned this, and no one can ever take that away from you. The theme you chose for today's ceremony is perseverance, which is a fitting description for the tenacity that life has demanded of you and for the grit and grace you've summoned to seize your future. Gallaudet has prepared you for a lifetime of discovery. There is so much you've learned while you were here, more perhaps than you realize. Some of it happened in libraries and lecture halls. Some during dorm room discussions that stretched until dawn. And in the end, what you earned here is more than a diploma. It is more than a formal education. It is experience and insight and wisdom. The questions you're grappling with today are not so different than the questions that motivate much of the world, especially at this moment in our history. For many, the pandemic upended not just the way we live our lives, but the way we think about the lives we're living. People are increasingly asking big questions of themselves. What do I really want to do with my life? Who do I really want to be? At the heart of it, I think, is one of humanity's most essential questions. What does it take to build a life that provides meaning and fulfillment? And the thing about it is that no one can answer that question for you, and that includes me. There's no iPhone feature that can come to the rescue. AI is good, but it's not that good. Still, I have one important piece of advice I want to share. So important that it's the only piece of advice I'm going to share today. And that is this: whatever you do, lead with your values. By leading with your values, what I mean is that you should make decisions, big and small, each and every day, based on a deep understanding of who you are and what you believe. These are not static things, and you wouldn't want them to be. You will learn more and grow more with each passing year, as all of us do. But there are foundational values that are bedrock, things that are core to your personality and your character. And these are the things you should choose to live by. At Gallaudet, you have received a world-class education. I hope you've used this time to think deeply and openly about the world around you, to determine what you believe and why you believe it. What matters now is that you let those ideas guide you, that you let your values lead you. This is how you build a life of meaning and fulfillment. For me, it was a sense of meaning that drew me to Apple in the first place. As a company, our purpose has always been to create technology that enriches people's lives. And we believe we can only achieve that goal through a relentless focus on our values. That's why we work hard to make technology that is accessible to everyone. Why we fight to protect the fundamental right to privacy. And why we are constantly innovating to help protect the environment and leave the world better than we found it. My values have also helped me persevere through the tough decisions in both my professional and personal life. When people question the financial wisdom of our commitment to sustainability, I spoke my values when I made it clear that fighting climate change is and will remain one of our most important goals. And in my own life, it was my values that called me to tell the world I am gay, so that I might bring a measure of hope to people still hiding who they are from the world. Put simply, my values are the driving force behind everything I do, and they're at the heart of every decision I make. Now, I recognize that leading a company and leading a good life are not the same thing. But I know in my heart that staying true to who you are and what you believe is one of the most important choices you can make. It will help you form better relationships. It will help you find more satisfaction in your work. And with a little luck, and a lot of effort, it will help you build a more meaningful life. Of course, sometimes the most meaningful life is the one that's least expected. If I've learned anything, it's that the future is unpredictable, even as we put our best efforts into shaping it. And that's okay. As Eleanor Roosevelt wrote, if life were predictable, it would cease to be life and be without flavor. And so when you imagine your future and the winding path that is laid out before you, remember that the question you should ask is not what will happen, but who will I be when it does? I hope you will be kind and compassionate. I hope you will see there is wonder in being part of something bigger than yourself and magic to be found in the service of others. I hope you will be good stewards of the planet we inhabit and participants in the fight to make it better, more equal, more accessible, more just. I hope you will hold tightly to the community you've built here, because whatever life brings, your success will be sweetened and your setbacks softened if you can share them together. Most of all, I hope you will find happiness and joy, meaning and fulfillment, and a life that gives to you all that you ask of it. Class of 2022, this is your moment, and I, for one, can't wait to see what you do. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Cook, Marley, Lauren, Molly. Your words, your speech was so powerful, and I am grateful that you are here with us today. To the class of 2022, isn't this a joyful moment? Finally, back in person together, we're able to be face to face after 2 long years of not having our commencement ceremonies face to face. We are here to really relish in these moments with you, to celebrate a well-deserved, hard-working journey that you have been on to get you here today. I'd like to take a moment to thank and to applaud and commend all of the people who have made today's event possible. There is a lot of work that went into behind the scenes and making the preparation all come together for us to be here today. So thank you all for your hard work. And what we have seen here today is a wonderful example of collective commitment to the greater good. And that is our community working together in collaboration with one another. The pandemic taught us a very important and powerful lesson. It taught us and also reminded us of this important lesson within our community that collective action is critical. And working alone and being isolated throughout the pandemic didn't stop us. That when the pandemic hit, we figured out how to connect virtually in the cloud. We found ways to remain connected, and you were able to continue learning, you kept working, and you kept progressing together. And when we came back to campus, in person, it took all of us working together, wearing masks, to make sure that we had everything in place regarding our safety protocols. And through it all, this collective action is what led to us being able to protect each other with our so many safety protocols. And what's amazing is that we succeeded. Our COVID numbers remained low. So that collective action that we all took to serve our community's well-being is really the hallmark of the deaf community. This experience reminds me of when I grew up in the deaf community in Delavan, Wisconsin. It was there in Delavan that I witnessed that our deaf community teaching me about the importance of showing up and supporting others, whether it was for the annual summer gathering, the Deaf Club, or any other event. The deaf community would show up in support of one another. That collective action in supporting one another is one of the hallmarks, the importance of our community. It is the strength of our community. And when we think about this work that we do, it is important that we do it together. Our individualism, while important, must also draw from the strength of our community. We succeed individually from the collective support of our community. And this leads me to the story of the honorary doctorates that were given today. That it was really 3 people who had written that book back in 1965, the Dictionary on the American Sign Language Linguistic Principles. And in 1988, one person received an honorary doctorate degree. That was Dr. William Stokey. And as was mentioned to us, that Dr. Stokey had told people time and time again that it was both Dot and Carl who were equally important to doing this work, and that they couldn't have done it if it weren't for the 2 of them working with him. He said that repeatedly to different individuals, and yet he was the only one who was recognized for the work. And we are now repairing that history. We are recognizing 3 people and the importance that they played in being a part of this team and are as individuals who are deaf, who are being recognized for their contributions today. The story and the recognition of Dot and Carl being a part of this team, working with Dr. William Stokey, who was hearing, we have now come to learn that in the past, we often would refer to hearing people, and they would often be recognized for work that was done, including our community. But now, our world has changed. The world has shifted, and the world is recognizing the talents, the skills, and the brilliance and wisdom that you all bring to the world as deaf individuals. Never forget that when you leave here today, because of your individual degree that you will be receiving, this was not done alone. This was done because of the collective action from this class and from this community and the deaf community at large that got you here today. There is strength in that collective action within our community. There is strength that is there. And when your days feel lonely, think about Gallaudet. Think about your friends and come home to homecoming events to recharge and then be able to go out again. Come back and be re-energized and then go out into the world again. We are here for you. And you have been here for one another, and let us not forget that. Of all things, we have to be here for each other, and we have done so throughout the last 2 years, throughout the pandemic, and it has been a remarkable experience, one that we will never forget in our lifetime. What you have proven to me as president of this university is that you are citizens of this world, that you are citizens of this community, and that you are not just students who are simply paying to come to college to get a degree. You are citizens who have changed Gallaudet. You have brought us to where we are today. You have helped us be able to meet where we are going in the future. And we all here at this university thank you for what you have brought to us, to our community, and showing us the power of that collective action and what we are capable of doing together. And so we are all here gathered together today to celebrate all of you. Congratulations to the class of 2022. And today, I would like to take a moment to recognize that we have lost a member of our community this year, and that was Roberto Maldonado. His brother, Octavio, is of the graduating class of 2022. Octavio, where are you? Where are you seated, Octavio? His family is also joining us today. And when we think about Roberto, we remember him as a compassionate person who really understood and followed with the values of knowing that small acts of kindness are what we should be doing every single day. His influence from what he had done on his time on earth and his time here at Gallaudet and all those he had shown support to, he had once said that he was wanting to do good things. Do good things. That is a simple yet powerful expression of the influence that we can have and how we can live. Roberto, in his short life, did good things and impacted the lives of so many. In his home state, where he went to school. And I encourage all of you to make the world a better place in the way that Roberto did. As you receive your degree here today, that is what you will take with you. That is your responsibility to make this world a better place. And be proud of who you are. You, as deaf individuals, as a part of our signing community, be the change. Build our communities. Engage with others deeply. And take care of yourselves. And take care of others. To the class of 2022 and to all of us here in this room, go forth and do good things. Thank you. I now call forward Interim Provost Jeffrey Lewis.
President Cordano, before we begin conferring of degrees, I think we should pause and let the moment sink in. Today is the culmination of so much effort. I would like to ask everyone in the audience and on the stage to stand. Look at each other. Take a moment to take this in. Breathe in this moment.